Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. So this July 4, 2024 will mark 90 years since we lost Mary Curry, and I'm kind of optimistic that I'm going to join her in heaven on July 4th, 2024. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not suicidal or anything, but I've been kind of willing for something to happen, and I suspect it's kind of against my religion to do anything to make that happen, but I've been willing for something to happen, right? Obviously, we live in a very dangerous world. Any number of things could happen that would enable me to go to heaven, and I'm kind of optimistic on that, and it's kind of giving me a lot of strength again because otherwise, people here on Earth are very cruel. I don't think I need to tell you about that. This past year, a little bit over a year actually, ever since I started my dream job, I've been kind of burned out, and I know why I've been burned out. I I love my romantic relationship to myself. Unfortunately, I can scarcely afford it, right? I work with a number of people who have a life partner, and having to compete against that dynamic has really been destroying me. Not to mention other issues related to that. What had happened was I had gone to a performance review, and I did well, but there were a few things that I missed. My boss was upset that I was late in responding to a number of students and a few things like that. And I'm thinking to myself, it could have played out very differently if I had somebody else taking care of the home issues, right? Like how a lot of my colleagues did, right? It would be helpful if imagine my spouse and I both worked in the same direction in town. It'd be helpful if we could take turns driving into town, right? And it's bad enough that I don't have a spouse to do that with. What makes it infinitely worse is that I have to then compete against other people who have that all taken care of, right? That's what really destroyed me, right? If everybody had to cook for themselves or drive themselves to work, yeah, I could probably live with that, right? We would all be on a level field, right? What really sucks is that I'm competing against these people. A bunch of those people are probably closeted solosexuals themselves, and they're setting up the stage where nobody can enjoy how they want to enjoy their lives. Right? These people have to compromise in a relationship that might not be 100%, and people like me have to compete against people who have that taken care of. It's just a no-win situation, right? Um, all in the name of religion and family values and all that, right? Well, that's one issue. The other reason I hope to go to heaven this July 4 is that the world is very nasty. If you have any, or at least here in the Phoenix area, people are really nasty with disabilities. So I have some dietary restrictions that I really need to practice in order to keep my autism in check. And also, I know it's hard to tell, but I had eczema when I was a teenager. It really keeps it in check if I stay on my diet plan. And also, don't forget, I have binge eating disorder kind of problems. It's really helpful if I do intermittent fasting. Now, every time I have tried to ask for any sort of accommodations to this, right? So, for example, there's a board game event. Sometimes it's held at a restaurant that doesn't allow you to bring outside food. Sometimes I want to go see a movie. I call these venues to ask for accommodations, and I get very vague responses. They push me around. You got to ask these people, or I was trying to go to a game conference, and I called the venue, the Phoenix Convention Center, and they said it wasn't even their rule. It was the people at the game convention that put up the sign. And I'm like, are you serious? These people are allowed to put signs on the door of the convention? And when I called the game convention, not surprisingly, they told me to call Phoenix Convention Center. Now, here in Arizona, we are a one party phone recording state. So I recorded the conversations to both of them. I'm thinking of next time I need to go there to bring the recording to argue with them. But then I'm not a very emotionally stable person. I doing stuff like that has a tendency to cause me to beat people up. So I don't know what to do now. Maybe I could start by emailing both of these recordings to both of these people. I don't know. But things like that really show me that the world is very cruel if you have any sort of disability or differences in life or the world is just too cruel for me. And I belong in a better place, especially with Mary Curry discovering some other new element, right? I belong there instead of here, right? So pray that something were to happen to go to heaven. The other thing I thought about is since I enjoy doing it so much, maybe do an intermittent fast that takes me to heaven, right? It'd be quite a number, depending on if it's dry or wet, right? A dry fast, I could probably make it in a few days, right? A wet fast, I probably want to start today to get there on July 4, right? This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.